Moon Letter, Astrological Podcast.
The Story of the Four Elements by Ben Belinsky. The story of the four elements begins in ancient Greece in the 5th century before Christ, with the philosopher Empedocles, who, according to Aristotle, was the first to suggest the theory that the world could be reduced to four elements: fire, earth, air, and water. For Empedocles, these elements could not be created nor destroyed, only their proportions rearranged and put together in different ways. This philosophy spread throughout the Roman Empire, around the Mediterranean, and all across Europe. It became the basis of medical science in the Middle Ages, thanks to the writings of Greek doctor and philosopher Galen, who lived in the 2nd century after Christ. Galen related the four elements to the four humours of the body: yellow bile, fire; black bile, earth; blood, air; and phlegm, water. Good health was regarded as a balance of the humours, and treatment was to help the patient to stay in or return to their own personal state of balance. We still use the terms of the four humours to describe different character types: choleric, melancholic, sanguine, and phlegmatic. This system lasted for centuries, all the way through the Middle Ages up to the European Renaissance, and was the basis for the medicine that was taught in universities throughout Europe. However, as it was only men who were allowed to attend university, women healers continued with their time-tested use of herbal remedies. The theory of the four humours was also the basis of the work of Ibn Sina, a 10th century Persian philosopher and doctor, also known by his Latinized name of Avicenna. His work is contained in his 5-volume encyclopedia, The Canon of Medicine, which was used as a standard textbook throughout the Middle Ages, even up to the 18th century. This magnum opus also provided the basis for Unani, the traditional Muslim system of medicine which is still followed in the Middle East and in India, where it is practiced alongside Ayurvedic medicine. Then, at the time of the German Renaissance in the 16th century, Swiss doctor, alchemist, and astrologer Paracelsus largely rejected the theory of the four humours, but through his research into alchemy explored the relationships between matter and consciousness. He described 4 elemental beings, each corresponding to one of the 4 elements: brownies or gnomes, corresponding to earth; undines or mermaids, corresponding to water; sylphs, corresponding to air; salamanders, corresponding to fire. Then there's the tarot cards, as well as the 22 cards of the major arcana of the tarot, with its archetypal images of the fool, the magician, the lovers, the hanged man, etc. There's also the minor arcana, consisting of 4 suits: swords, wands, cups, and pentacles. Each suit is associated with one of the classical elements as follows: swords with air, wands with fire, cups with water, pentacles with earth. The origin and history of the tarot is subject to much speculation, but it is generally agreed that the 4 suits of the minor arcana gave rise to the 4 suits of the ordinary playing cards, also known as the poker deck, or in some countries as the French deck. Spades from swords, from air; clubs from wands, from fire; hearts from cups, from water; diamonds from pentacles, from earth. And now, Scientists no longer regard the 4 elements of the ancient Greeks as the building blocks of the physical world. We have the periodic table of 118 elements that starts with hydrogen and helium and carries on past oxygen and gold, radium and uranium, to the artificial elements that may only exist for less than a fraction of a second. Then inside these atoms, science has discovered protons, neutrons and electrons, which are in turn composed of even smaller particles known as quarks. Welcome to the quantum universe. Likewise, illness and disease are no longer seen as the result of an imbalance of humours in the body, and bloodletting, with or without leeches, is no longer seen as a cure-all. But the 4 elements have not been totally abandoned. They have found a home in psychology and provide the basis of Carl Jung's theory of psychological types. Carl Gustav Jung, Swiss psychologist and follower of Sigmund Freud, took the 4 elements of medieval thought and mapped them onto his understanding of the human psyche. He described them as the 4 functions of the psyche. Earth as the sensing function, the concern with physical sensation. Water is the feeling function, to do with emotional evaluation. Air is the thinking function, the rational and intellectual processes. And fire Jung described as intuition, direct perception without the senses. Jung's typology also lives on in the work of American authors Catherine Cook Briggs and her daughter Isabel Briggs Myers, in their personality test known as the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator. This test takes the Jungian parameters of introvert, extrovert, sensing, intuition, and thinking, feeling, and adds the parameter of judgment, perception. The 4 elements live on in this modern, widely used personality test that characterizes people as belonging to 16 unique types, according to the above criteria. But when it comes to personality, astrology is by far the most subtle and sophisticated system to describe the uniqueness of each human individual, as well as providing a symbolic schema to make sense of the complexity of human interaction. In addition to the 4 elements that relate to the sun's position in one of the 12 signs of the zodiac, we have the rising sign, the positions of the moon and the planets, and if you really want to get down and dirty, there are the goddess asteroids, the centaurs, and the ever-growing menagerie of trans-Neptunian objects. Check out the article on my website, moonletter.co.uk, where you will find links if you want to go deeper into this, and listen to my podcast, Astrology and the 4 Elements, where we explore the relationship between the 12 signs of the zodiac and their associated elements.
And for more astrological and spiritual musings, check out moonletter.co.uk.